Karate Kid Legends had a potential amazing follow-up coming off the heels of the season finale of Cobra Kai just a few months ago. And here I am, unfortunately, bringing you all the bearer of bad news. In my opinion, I generally feel very disappointed in a dark cloud of disappointedness right now on this review. And I'm going to tell you everything why about this movie. But if you're new to the channel, I really appreciate if you guys can subscribe and leave a like on this review. It really helps a lot as I get into this review of Karate Kid Legends. Like I said, I feel generally disappointed coming off this movie. And I do love the show of Cobra Kai. I've been watching all seasons here and then, especially the new season, which really got super good to the point where the grand finale to that season coming off in February was an amazing send-off to knowing where it wants to go, where it wants to do next. But who knows, it would have been another Cobra Kai movie or something. But Karate Kid Legends is what we end up with instead. And the fact is, this movie was supposed to come out before the season finale of Cobra Kai, being shifted away after the release of Cobra Kai season finale, it does make sense because it does take place 2 years later into the Karate Kid Legends movie. And I have a lot to bear on this movie overall on why I feel generally disappointed. First, before I get to the negatives, I do want to give some little positives at least, because obviously if anyone's looking for some positive parts, the vibes of this movie, I will say the lead star in this movie is Ben Wong, who is not no one I know particularly, but I will say he's got the casting role in the upcoming new Hunger Games movie coming out next year. And I do want to have to give him my praise and flowers to him at least, because he had an amazing solid lead in this movie who showed off an amazing choreography and stunt action he did with this movie. And overall, when I look at the action in this movie, it's well done. It's nothing crazy as like Cobra Kai as you watch the season of that, of course, from 5 seasons. But I will say the action in this movie with the stunts Ben Wong pulled off was generally great. And his lead in this movie overall was great. Matter of fact, I was pulled to this character a little efficiently who had a good backstory, who was trained under Jackie Chan's character, who is also returning from the remake of 2010's Karate Kid with Jaden Smith. So I thought he was a really good, interesting part to this movie as well. Jackie Chan, who does not like Jackie Chan in these type of movies, but I thought he served a great addition to this movie. And overall, Ben Wong, I gotta say, I'm very excited and I'm very passionate for him to see what he does next. Like I said, he's gonna do the Hunger Games movie coming out next year, The Reaping Sun. That's what I believe what it's called. I could be wrong, but I generally think Ben Wong had an amazing potential to go to whatever he does next, whatever it's action, karateing, all the stuff that you see that he did in this movie. You could look at him that as Ben Wong is a kung fu karate person. As you look at Karate Kid Legends, I just think he can do more things he can do as a solid supporting lead. And I loved his performance from here and then. Pretty nice about it. And I will say it's got funny moments here and then. I will say people were laughing, people were clapping, cheering. And overall, I think this movie has a positive side of crowd pleasing here and then. So I will say that's another good addition to this movie. And now the negatives. The generally part why I feel disappointed going to this movie. The movie has a runtime efficient reveal of 1 hour and 34 minutes. And when I look at this runtime, I'm like, that shakes my head to wonder, how is this movie going to work? What can they cram in quickly enough to get the best out of it? Because I see a few movies that are like an hour and 30 to 40 minutes that gets like the most genuine good parts that you could put in a movie like this. And unfortunately for Karate Kid Legends, the problem with the runtime is the pacing of this movie. It is generally moving way too fast, and it's moving way places on a knot that I couldn't even understood, or excuse me, not understood, but couldn't fathom the moments this movie has. And it lacks a lot of heart to this movie. And that would generally left me very disappointed. Some of the characters in this movie and some performance could have had an amazing potential, especially on top of that, with this pacing, the story's going off the rails here and then. From the trailer of this movie, it potentially showed Li Fong, who is trying to go into his karate tournament, is being helped by Jackie Chan's character and Ralph Macchio. I'll get to Ralph Macchio in a bit, but that was the whole premise I thought was going to be about. The first act, between the first two acts, it got off the rails pretty bad to the point where I don't know where this was going at first. You basically see Filong training some guy who runs a pizza shop, which you'll see as you watch the movie, or if anyone's seen it, you know what I'm talking about. He trains him to get back into fighting, and that threw me off a bit to where this movie goes. I just generally don't understand what is going to be this movie really from the first two acts standpoint. From the trailer they showed, it just came off just what this purpose has this movie. It reminds me of Kraven the Hunter, where it just has too many directions. When I look at Karate Kid Legends, it just has the same kind of thing with this with Kraven. It just doesn't have any plot identity. And when I look at Karate Kid Legends like that, it could have been just longer. In my opinion, it could have been at least 2 hours. Because when you look at Karate Kid movies from the past with Ralph Macchio, they're like 2 hours. And they were just amazing to watch because it gives a lot of characters, structure, and storyline to the franchise. And even with the Jane Smith remake, that's over 2 hours. It's like, why couldn't they done another 2 hours of this movie? Even if it's 2 hours and 30 minutes, do it. It's like, why making this so short of hell of a pacing with the script these people have been given? That's something that jogged my head a bit. I generally just don't know what the hell this movie was or not. They did it under 1 hour and 34 minutes. If it was just worked differently with this runtime, this could have been a lot better, in my opinion. Unfortunately, this 1 hour and 34 minutes was a slog that boggled me down to the T pretty bad. And I love Daniel LaRusso from the Cobra Kai series, of course. But in this movie, he's misused only because right up till the second near end of act, that's when you start to see him. I felt it could have get this guy involved at least after the first act, but instead it's like right up to the like past the 1 hour mark, I feel like. But I don't know what the hell this character was in this movie that just felt misused. In my opinion, I just don't know what that was with Ralph Macchio in this movie. If like I said, if it was like 2 hours over, I think this could have worked. But the fact it's an hour and 34 minutes, I felt like it could have done something. Especially like I said, the pacing. It does take place for 2 years after Cobra Kai, and it hasn't got to explain what happened with Daniel LaRusso. And I don't know, because if you watch Cobra Kai, he has a wife, he has a daughter, I mean, and a son. I just don't know why they didn't give us such a little context about this to see what's going on. But taking place 2 years into this movie and having nothing to offer with this, I generally feel also disappointed to know what's going on. Like, that's something that left me bitter to this movie. With Ralph Macchio, I don't know what the hell this was. I generally feel annoyed how they use him overall in this movie. It really was not good. Overall, Karate Kid Legends is unfortunately a disappointment. In my opinion, it's just really one of my most disappointing movies I ever watched this year. I generally don't hate this movie, but if it was just worked better with the runtime, or maybe it could have been a little more longer, I think this movie could have been a lot more enjoyable. Unfortunately, it fails the structure of build up to the Karate Kid movies like the previous and Cobra Kai follow-up. Generally feel a very soulless, disappointing film. I have nothing to really much say. But again, I will say Ben Wong is a great solid lead. I hope he gets more roles and stuff like this. And the action in this movie was entertaining start to finish from the standpoint. I think you'll get only the most entertaining parts is the action and Ben Wong's character that I think it will give you a little heart to offer at least. My overall score to Karate Kid Legends, I'll be giving this as a 5 out of 10 and 3 stars. If you're a Karate Kid fan or a Cobra Kai fan coming off the heels of being a fan, I would recommend checking this out because I know some other people would like it more than I do, but that's just me coming off this movie and what I love about Cobra Kai. This film just really fails to structure a build-up and follow-up. I generally feel disappointed with this runtime that this movie's been given, which really could have been longer or would have worked a lot better. And unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case. It's generally disappointing follow-ups from Cobra Kai. I really don't personally love it. I generally feel a lot disappointed. But if you guys seen Karate Kid Legends, let me know in the comments section below. What do you think of it? And if you're new to the channel, I really appreciate you subscribe. And if you enjoy the review, hit the like button. Most importantly, I wanted you to last. One of you guys stay safe. Stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.